Hi guys, so it's been a quiet week here at Fensmere. I've just been prepping because I'm actually off and away this coming 2 weeks to Rainbow. I'm fishing the island with Wayne. And we've also had guests, we've had visitors over from the UK. So it's been a pretty quiet week in terms of work. I've still been getting stuff prepped and ready up here for me to be away, which means making sure all the feeders are good. And I've just got a mate Paul coming round now who's going to help feed the main feeder out in the lake. It's a bit too much for Sally lifting 25 kilo sacks up onto the on the floats. So look, what I'm going to try and do is I'm not going to do a lot of videoing at Rainbow. It's not a fishing, as I say, this isn't a fishing blog as such. I fit a few of my fishing sessions in, and if there's anything memorable there, then obviously I'll put it into a video. But there's multiple Rainbow videos out there, so I don't think it's super relevant for me to do one. As I say, a couple of big ones, I'll put them on just for the entertainment value. Otherwise, what I'm going to do while I'm at Rainbow is I'm going to sit down with Wayne, and I'd really like to have a chat with Wayne about his fishing experiences over in France over the course of the last nearly 20 years. Wayne's lived out here and fished all sorts of waters from back in the day, Chanticoq, Rainbow, right back in the early days of Rainbow as well. So got some great stories, and it would be really good to be able to sit and chat with him, although I know he's pretty shy and doesn't like to talk about it too much. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Fensmere Story while I'm at Rainbow. I've got plenty of time to do it there. So we'll sit down and I'll go through the whole of the experience that Sally and I have had setting up Fensmere, the main lake, and then also talk about the fish farm side of it as well. All right, so that's about it. I'm going to check out. I'll put this little video up tonight, and then I'll probably try and touch base early next week while I'm at Rainbow and give you an update. All right, catch you later, guys. Bye-bye. Hi, guys. Is it Monday? Yeah, I think it's Monday. So look, a week between me fishing up at Carptopia, which I've just put that video out on Saturday, and trying to get a little bit done here at the farm and at Fensmere, because we've got anglers arriving. We've got 2 weeks. We open up in July, so we've got anglers arriving this Friday to start the week. But then I'm off on Saturday morning to Rainbow for 2 weeks out on the island with Wayne. I'm super looking forward to that, but obviously it means I've got to get things all sorted and done up here. But we're talking 35 degrees at the moment, and I still ain't got the machine going, so I'm sort of limited in what I can do. I'm just trying to get these feeders sorted out for Sally, because obviously she's got to come and feed and fill up the feeders otherwise, or come up here and push the buttons to get them started. Now, as I've said, they're fantastic feeders if I could work the bloody things out. And unfortunately, I haven't got the little timer pushers that I was hoping to get. Don't really know. Sal's going to probably have to come up here every 2 days instead of feeding every day on these sort of more manual feeders at the moment. Just extra work that we didn't really need and could do without. So in these hot temperatures, BP Milling did put out a fantastic video the other day. Really did it brilliantly. It was a cracker. Talking about a healthy lake environment, healthy lake system, and a nitrogen cycle. And it's something that we try and manipulate to get clarity in the water, because we think algae is a problem, and the reality of it is that a healthy system, a healthy lake system that's working to break down the detritus and the leaf litter and all the other shit that's in the lake is best suited by a fantastically working nitrogen cycle within the lake. And that's why I chose these lakes for the fish farmers. They're very shallow. The main lake's 2 meters deep at its deepest, and on average it's just over a meter. But it is so productive. It gets such good light penetration that the system just turns over, and stuff gets broken down super quickly. Wind creates a load of oxygen in the water. The water flow I have from the river and from the top lake and Leany Pond going in adds to that dilution of any ammonia or any problems that may be arising in the lake. Now, at this moment in time, we've gone through probably the driest spring since we've been here, and the water flow coming in from the river is not happening at the moment, because where I had to put the pipe through into the river has now not got enough fall to create pressure to push that water through the lake. So I'm only getting what I'm getting from the top lake coming in and from the Leany Pond. So I've got to try and do something about that, or I want to try and do something about that, because obviously having that fresh water coming through my lake at that rate means that I can maintain the feeding levels that I'm doing without any problems. Now, the reason that that's super important is because these lakes around this area of the cruise have literally no calcium. So if there's an ammonia spike due to, you know, the fish feeding super hard, lots of poo, the cycle's not working down to break that down, then that ammonia spike, if there isn't calcium to buffer it, can cause pH shifts and fluctuations. Those pH shifts and fluctuations the fish really don't like very much at all, can cause them problems. So hence, having water coming through there means that those fluctuations don't really occur because any of that waste product is getting taken out. So it's the problem that I have. And so at this time of year, if the water really starts to back off and I'm not getting any flow down there, then I'll be testing very regularly in the water parameters. And also I will reduce the feed if I believe that there could be a potential problem. So look, they're just things we have to manage and think about. As you know here, even on the fish farm, I don't have massively high stocking ratios. And the reason for that is I'm on a remote site here, I don't have oxygen or air out in the lakes. They're all natural. So I can't push that biomass too much because of that. The algal blooms on all these two lakes, the top and the main lake, is fantastic this year. Water's absolutely full of life and biomass there, so it's absolutely fantastic. Now the funny thing is, of course, the Leany Pond comes straight out the ground from a spring, and it's a completely different water. I reckon it comes from, I was chatting with Anthony about this, we reckon it comes from a completely different aquifer. It's gin clear, full of weed. It's perfect for the little C1s coming through. They've got a load of natural habitat, loads of cover, and I can feed them up and add to them because there's only a small amount of food, relatively small amount of weight of fish. So I can give them around 2% in there because they're going to get the rest from snails and naturals. And up in the top here, I'm still feeding about 1.4 to 1.5%, and I don't really push it any more than that. All right, anyway, just a quick update, let you know what's going on. If there's anything else happens as I'm walking around, I'll let you know. But everything's looking lovely at the moment. All right, so that's the water flow coming in from the top lake. So not a huge amount, as you can see. And again, I'll just show you. I mean, look at the difference. Look at the difference in this water. Absolutely gin clear, covered in weed. Whereas all the other lakes, I know they've got a bigger biomass, so obviously that water, they don't get as much light penetration. But it is interesting. Even when I've had quite a lot of fish in here, it's still stayed relatively clear, which is incredible. So what have we got coming in here as well? So this is coming in out of there. Where are we? There it is down there, you can hear it. So there's still a little bit of water coming in, which is nice. It's not a huge amount. There's hardly any going over the spillway, which means most of that is going out. Great bit of view in here. We've got pretty much all the big uns. Looks like they might be going for another little bit of a spawn in this shallow water. But there's a mixture of 70s, 60s. Look at the size of them. Absolute units. I can identify most. There's a big scale out in the middle there, but there's several fish there that are equal to her. If not, I'm pretty sure. Every time the general comes out, he goes and minces off back under there. But yeah, look at them. Incredible. Always great to see this. Sorry about the wind. Always great to see it when you've just put feed in and they're just absolutely going off. Look. Bloody marvellous. Feeding super well here in the shallow water. So going to get some really good growth rates this year, I believe. So it's fantastic. Now what I'm doing actually out on this main feeder is feeding still with the 15mm pellet, and that's coming out 3 times a day out there. So there's it's on for 10 seconds. So we're doing about 25 kilos a day from the main feeder. And then this feeder I'm actually feeding with 5s. They go out better and it puts a big spread, and this of course is going to be my area just here, which will be the catch pit. So yeah, bloody, it's working really well. So I'm super excited, super happy.